for you. Good, good, good. Awesome. Well, we got a great friend of the show joining us today, a resident of South Africa. Super cool to have him. Dan, how you doing? Dan Moodley.
Hey, what's up, brother? Good
How's
man.
things? How's things over there?
It's good. It's awesome. Durban is supposed to be closing up on winter, but we're still getting 23, 24 degrees Celsius here.
So jealous. That's what we were just discussing before we went live here. Like it's over here right now. We're sitting at about 6 to 5 degrees in snow and pretty cold rain. So very jealous.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's Durban generally has very very good weather. In the summer we can get about between 30 and 35 degrees, and everybody that comes to Durban actually loves the weather here. It's good enough to go swimming, go surfing. It's awesome here, man.
So nice. So nice. I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to go to South Africa. I
But
don't
the
know.
ironic thing is, I always wanted to. I've never seen snow before, so I've
Oh,
never
wow.
had the opportunity to be in snow. Yeah.
We can help you with that.
Yeah. You did fight in Romania, though. No, was it not that time of year?
I did, but it wasn't snowing there. It was in November, so it wasn't really snowing there. But it was probably some of the lowest temperatures I've been in, which was like 2 degrees, which is probably like summer for you guys.
It's we do get some beautiful weather here. We get like it can get up to 25 and 30 degrees too,
Oh, nice.
but only for about 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
true. Yeah, we do have really nice summers, but our
Yeah.
winters can be shitty.
Yeah, definitely
at,
can be so. But I
at
gotta
some
ask
point you.
you. Oh,
But
sorry. So
sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
I said at some point I was a few years ago. I was actually looking to move to Canada,
Oh wow.
and somebody told me about the weather. I was like, man, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it really depends.
Mm,
If you like me, because the thing is, I can't even when it comes to training, it has to be like, although it's like quite warm here, I still have to bust up the heater in my lounge to start training and get a sweat.
yeah.
No way.
So
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to get a sweat here. That's the thing. Like I know some clubs they'll crank the heat up, to
okay,
fight it, obviously to make it a super warm
yeah.
temperature. But how'd you get involved in MMA? How'd you kind of get started in the whole thing?
So I was like 13 years old, and I heard about this karate dojo. You know when they call it dojo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
down the road from my house. So I took a walk there, and when I go to get to the karate dojo, it was in like a community hall, and they would have classes like twice a week. And I just remember looking at this art, and I just saw this guy. He wasn't even doing like kumite or any types of fighting. He was just doing plain kata.
Yeah.
And
Hiya.
I took a look at this, and like just the energy from that moment, being 13, just that energy of just being in there, not because I want to fight, or just that whole martial arts energy. I just drew from that, and it was amazing. And ever since then, I've been like 13 to like 18. I did karate, and then I took part in a few um, tournaments
Hmm.
and things like that. And
Nice.
then a few guys told me I should try something different, try something more full contact, because it was like semi contact. And I would get to the gym and we'd have kumite lessons, and they would complain. I would
Going too
just
hard.
try to bully them, try to bully them the whole time. And I wasn't the lightest kid. I was quite a fat kid.
Hmm.
I hadn't been involved in any type of sports, and I think the real mindset, the real shift in terms of wanting to be a just an athlete, took place when I started university. I was surrounded by so many professional athletes because I was doing my degree in sports science, and just being with so many of the students who were like professional athletes. Like some of the guys were like Olympic level swimmers, and involved in track. So I was like, this is like it's time for me to just take a shift in mindset, just to train hard and lose my belly. And it really all just started by wanting to have a six pack. All I wanted was a chest line and a six pack. That's all I wanted. I don't want anything else. I don't. At one point, I just wanted to have a six pack because I got these guys taking their shirts off, running on the track, doing warm ups, everything class. I'm like, oh my god, I can't take my shirts off,
I know how you
and you
feel.
would do swimming, and you would do these swimming practicals, and the guys are, everyone got six packs and chest lines, and I'm like standing by the pool like this.
Good for you. Well, that's the beauty of this sport and other things, eh, John?
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing that'll get you into shape whether you want to or not. If you're pushing it, you're gonna trim up. With that, did you start fighting at flyweight?
Actually, I had, so after I decided to leave karate,
Yeah.
I then I was I was 85 kgs when I started university. So I decided at like 19. So 6 months after training MMA, I had my first fight. 6 to 8 months after training MMA, I had my
Damn.
first fight, which was this year is 10 years ago.
Wow.
Nice. Wow.
And I had my first MMA fight, and I was 72 kgs.
Okay.
And I was 72 kgs. I
And you
had my
lost
first
all
MMA
that in
fight.
6 months, from 85 to
I lost from
72.
85 to 72. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Like 6 to 8 months, and
Yeah.
I just went. And then after that, actually on that fight, 2 minutes into that fight, I popped my shoulder. Like I felt the shoulder was out.
Yeah.
In And I popped my shoulder. I still got the footage somewhere. I popped my shoulder like 10 seconds into the fight.
Oh no.
I was like, I don't like what's happening. I don't know what's happening to me. What's happening to me? With my left shoulder. Uh, I just kept this left shoulder up the whole time, hand
Yeah.
up here, and I only used my legs and my right hand. And the whole time,
Jesus.
I actually won that round. But I remember coming back to the corner. I was like, "Coach, something's wrong with my shoulder. I can't go into the next round." And I come out of the cage. I don't know what I did to my shoulder, and
Okay.
I felt the joint literally dislocate all and out of the socket. And the doctor at the event, like, was very very grassroots amateur tournament.
Yeah.
She took a towel under my armpit and she yanked up from one side to us, and they popped it back into place. And you would think that was a sign for me to stop doing MMA, right?
Yeah.
So
No.
I got it.
The
I got back into the gym. I
calling.
got back into the gym.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It was a calling.
calling. It was definitely a call. Like, and like 2 weeks later, I was back in the gym in the arm brace, still training. My coach had to tell me, no, you need to just relax and come back. So,
Smart
yeah,
decision.
man. And then, yeah, it's hard after that, man. I was such a high, like, I knew this was for me. Competitive sports, like, I mean, combat sports was for me.
Mm. Have you had
Yeah.
shoulder
So,
issues since from that?
well, I went for about 5, 6 years ago. I went for a CAT scan and all of these things, just to check it out, because
Mm.
I felt that there was something wrong.
Yeah.
I've got a torn joint capsule in my shoulder for 10 years, and
Damn.
I
Oh
just
wow.
been, yeah, and so people told me that it'll always dislocate. Doctors,
Yeah. Yeah.
healthcare professionals told me it'll just. I was like, I don't care. Like, whatever happens, YOLO. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go for the surgery and then cut a year off my fighting.
Yeah.
It's just like a year is a lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, now we're
Yeah.
going through this corona issue. I mean, not fighting for like potentially a year is a lifetime. I mean, people forget that it's a
Yeah.
year of people's careers. Like, if you got a lifespan of 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
you're only gonna have 9 years after this corona thing.
Yeah.
Now, you
Just
know what I
knock
mean?
10% off your career.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's what I told myself. I was like, I'm gonna deal with this, and
Mm-hmm.
even when I'm old and I can't. My wife always tells me, "You're gonna be an old man, and I'm gonna have to carry you to
Yeah,
bed."
that's true. But that's the
Guaranteed.
beauty of it, right? We're all in that
Yeah.
same situation, and I think. Well, you've taken a lot of short notice fights. You've taken a fight on like 24, like I think even
It was like
shorter than 24.
6 hours or something
Yeah,
for
like
weigh-ins, something crazy.
Yeah, man. So, like, that's a crazy story of how, man, like, coming through as an amateur and starting off as a pro. It was actually such a crazy journey, man. Like, I've always told myself, up until, like, before that point, like a very some time before that actually took that short notice fight. I was like, I'll never take a short notice fight. I'm always gonna prepare for a fight and blah blah blah. And I've lost so much of opportunities in my life. When I look
Mm-hmm.
back, I don't regret anything, but I think to myself, how many opportunities in general I've closed the door on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I told myself that like a few months before that, if that I'm gonna stay focused, I'm gonna work hard, and because the reality is in life, when opportunity comes knocking the door, if you don't take it, the guy next your neighbor is always gonna be ready to step
Yeah.
up.
That's true.
and and that's what I did, man. Like, so I took that fight. Like, I was, how is this for the universe working and listening to you and pulling that energy towards you if you just stay focused and stay on your path. um, I go to an amateur event that was being held by Brave the day before, a
Hmm.
local event that Brave was like, being part of and try to get to it. So like they had an amateur event the day before, and then they had the Brave event the next day. So
Smart.
we rock up there for my teammates who are competing at that amateur event, and I went to corner them along with my coach. Um, and I rock up there, and then and something in me, something was telling me, stay ready, keep your diet, keep training, just be ready if anything happens. And I still remember being when we checked in that Thursday. I told my teammate that was competing on Friday, I'll fight that guy, that guy, that guy if anyone pulls on. I
Yeah.
still remember. And then one of the guys that I chose was Franz Malambo. He trains at SPG with
Mhm.
Conor McGregor and all of these guys. I said he was one of the main guys that I had my eye on if anything had to go down. So I was like constantly like, just picturing it, visualizing it the whole time. And by that Thursday night, we had dinner. We went back to the room, and my coach was like, "You want to have a few drinks?" So we went down. I didn't drink, so he had a few. He had his drinks, and I just had some Coke Zeros and what.
Mhm.
Can't come back to the room. At about 4 a.m. in the morning, I get a call from my agent. This is like literally probably a few hours from Wayne,
Perfect.
and I was like, okay. My agent calls me. Do you want to fight? I was like, bring it. Let's do it. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about it. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm
It's
already half asleep. So I was
Good
like
for
like,
you.
let me just step up.
amazing, man. It's like a premonition. You knew you had to be ready. Yeah.
Had to be ready, man. Like, I think also with again, it comes down to the opportunity. And
Yeah.
even when I was
So
in that
important.
cage that night, I had my hand wrapped. I'm like, I never questioned what I was doing. Sometimes when you get your hand wrapped, when you're
Mhm.
at that point, you can't run away. This is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never fought myself, so I can't.
I
John
have.
himself, he can
Yeah.
do that. I can't actually.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't
man,
know
when
that
you
I
get your
feeling.
love it.
hands wrapped,
You get your hands wrapped. It's just like it's like you got weapons on then, right?
you
You feel
got
like you can punch a brick wall. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it,
there's no
man. The
turning
gauze
back
and the
that's
now.
it.
tape. Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
good feeling, and then you get out there and your nerves hit you real bad, and then you go from there. I think though, like you're
Man, that's
saying, like fighting's a sport, especially like the guys that stay in shape and are ready to go at a moment's notice, win or lose, they seem to do well in the sport. The sport
Yeah.
definitely favors those kind of fighters and those athletes that are disciplined
Durable.
and ready to go. Yeah, taking the opportunities. The Cowboy Cerrone is a perfect example. Like he's got a few losses on his record, but he's
mm.
always in the top five or whatever, and he's always, he's huge. He's a huge star, and he's like the poster boy for short notice fights and fighting whenever he can. So
Yeah, it's
and
interesting
he
how
got
he
and,
can
and
stay
he's getting
healthy.
paid the money, man.
yeah,
He's getting
right.
paid the big money. He's top 10.
Yeah,
Everybody knows him.
Hmm.
yeah.
He's got such good like brand equity behind his name.
Which is
Mm-hmm.
so important. And it's interesting to hear you say that. And it kind of brings me to another point that I really wanted to touch up on your sponsors. Sponsors for an athlete are so important. And going back to the one you're wearing right there, obviously they're a big, important part of you. Um,
Yeah.
how did you get involved with them, and what's kind of the future with them?
So envisage, I mean, they've been so good to me, bro. Like, just just from a sponsorship perspective and just as a brand, we have quite a close, tight net of guys involved with Envisage, and each and every one of us trying to pick each other's brand up and be there for the next fighter in whether it's from social media aspect to just up until just a supportive aspect. A lot of the guys um, train together as well in Thailand as well. So we
Mhm.
always got a home if we need to go and train around the world. That's amazing
How
thing about sport, right? It's such a small world when you get so deep in it, you realize how small the world is, especially in MMA.
Mm.
so
And
small.
tiny, bro.
Yeah.
it's
Shout out
tiny.
to
So
Hulk
when you,
Mafia. Hulk
sorry,
Mafia over there in Thailand.
yeah, hey man, that guy is crazy. That guy is built like a
Yeah.
machine, eh?
Yeah. You guys are you're all like machines, dude. You're all in
Oh,
pretty damn good shape.
thanks, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool.
so
All
I
that
mean,
coffee.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
drinking coffee right now. I
Yeah.
noticed on your Instagram, are you a plant-based diet? Is that what you are you vegetarian or vegan? It says something about plant-based nutrition on your Instagram, and I was wondering, is that kind of the protocol you've been following, or is that something you used to do? Or
so I've been a like you can call it a plant based athlete for 5 years.
okay,
I don't consume any animal products in terms of meat or fish or eggs.
okay,
So I still have like dairy and things like that, and honey and those sort of aspects. But eventually, the goal is to be a complete vegan and
okay,
not eat anything that comes from animal, just because no, it doesn't have any from my health perspective as well. But also I want to go green and just
mm-hmm.
take care of the environment and be and all about conservation from that aspect. I'm
Wow,
very much, I love animals, and
yeah,
I want to go green and contribute to doing my part, even if it's one person to the world.
yeah,
And that's a sort of mindset I like to impart on to the next part of my family, and that type of legacy that I leave behind. And I also want to like just try to change the mindset of people and perspective about being a professional athlete. And also, there's a lot of misconceptions with being a vegan or
mm-hmm.
vegetarian that
Hmm.
people don't understand.
Yeah.
And and they think that you need a specific type of protein, which is actually wrong. Like, if you do a lot of research about protein and all those sort of uh, things that are involved in your diet. I mean, especially for a flyweight. I need uh, my amount of protein is lower than a guy, heavier guy, right?
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah,
So,
yeah,
so I'm blessed that I'm a flyweight.
yeah,
Come fight. It comes to fight camp time. I only need like 140 grams, 130 grams of
yeah.
protein a day.
Okay, yeah, I
So
was
that,
gonna ask you if you're still trying to do roughly like a gram of protein per pound. And are you?
yeah.
So you've been at it for 5 years. So obviously you've been eating this way long enough to know if there was going to be any side effects or whatever. Like, did you find it a difficult transition to go into plant based diet to get all the protein and all the other, I guess like iron and creatine and things like that you naturally gain from meat? Do you supplement, or are you strictly on your food getting what you need? And was that like quite kind of a learning curve, or do you find keeping up with that to be fine?
Look, also my body is like, it is always a learning curve, like
Mm-hmm.
you trying to find the right formula that actually works,
Yeah,
especially during fight camp times and very busy times, like a full week of training and then fight camp and the amount of demands on your body. So
yeah,
generally, in general, you should be having a little bit more of certain things. And obviously, if you have too much of things, the body, so much the body can take on certain aspects. So I try to keep my diet as extremely scientific as possible in terms of um, exactly what my body needs, like the zincs, the magnesiums, the joint supports, all those sort of things. Um, but fortunately, I'm surrounded by a good team of guys, nutritionists, and strength and conditioning coaches who actually assist me with finding the right combinations and giving me the ratios that my body requires for my body weight, and
yeah.
also the physical demands and stresses that I put on my body. But in saying that, it's become so scientific and so detailed that I'm not gonna lie, there's sometimes I'm like, like, don't want it, I don't want to toilet,
Yeah,
I get it out of this, train hard,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
your sweat, drink my
yeah,
water, and just go for it, like there's
yeah,
some, I'm not gonna lie, sit here and give you a wrong image of me. No, it's not all the time I'm super strict, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Sometimes
It's hard.
I fall off the bandwagon, It's
yeah,
not, but as much as I can, I eat healthy. I
Hmm.
eat lots of greens. I drink lots of water. I do the basics and I do it right. Just like my fighting, I believe basics wins, and I try not to overthink situations, and
Mm.
especially what I put into my body. I just keep to the basics, do it well. But in fight camp, I'm very, very,
of
very
course.
strict with my
Yeah,
with all my calories, with my nutrition, basically with my whole macros. I'm very to the T, because my strength and conditioning coach has a philosophy, and that's leaving nothing to chance. So when you get into the cage and you wipe your eyes and you stand across that guy, only you will know, not
Yeah,
even your coach, nobody will know how much of sacrifice
mm-hmm.
and things that you've made for this to be here. So
yeah.
there's one of two things. It's either that I'm doubting myself, or somebody's gonna drop, and it's not gonna be me.
I
There you
love
have it.
that.
It's
So
so true.
sorry to hog all the questions, Derek, but
Oh, good.
I was just so is there other guys on your team as well that are plant based or coaches, or are you like the lone wolf kind of running this?
Only, and I get
Yeah,
so much
okay,
respect
that's
for
got
it,
to be
Jay.
tough, man.
It's starting the trend. The trend.
Yeah, that's right. Damn, it all starts with one, right?
That's right.
Yeah, man.
That's impressive.
But I'm
Yeah, it
seeing,
is impressive.
I'm seeing a different mindset. I'm seeing a shift in guys now. Guys
Mm.
are trying more plant-based diets now. They have more belief in it. They believe, and it only takes one person actually, to actually change and shift the mindset, and that's what it's all about. And there's been stuff. I mean, studies done, but it's all about perspective. If you believe what works for you, some guys don't want to come out of their comfort zones and try something new.
Yeah.
I was just telling my wife today that when I was cooking the meals, I said I'm gonna try to cook it in a different way,
Okay.
because maybe you will get a different result. Like when I go, let's be honest, when you go to a restaurant and you order a meal, you always order what you're comfortable with, but you don't want to waste your money
Mhm.
It's
on
true.
something you don't want, and it's not gonna be appealing. So I
Yeah.
go to the restaurant, I try something different all the time,
Nice.
and I want to see, just like my fighting and my mindset in life. I'm always trying to expose myself to different things,
Mm.
and even with the diet, I always try something different. But when it comes to crunch time, and when I need to get stuff done, like especially in a fight camp, I don't leave nothing to chance.
Mm.
I do what works. But obviously, pre-fight camp is when you play around with things and you try different aspects of you
Yeah,
to see what
absolutely.
works.
Technique and food, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Time to workshop some stuff. You're like fighting Gandhi, right? Be the change you want to see or whatever.
Yeah, man. Be the change you want to see in the world, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant quote.
Yeah.
And you talk about workshopping and being creative. Like you seem like quite a dynamic striker. Like you really push the pace. You're throwing all kinds of different angles and different techniques and striking at people. Like you just seem to be a really creative, kind of high paced guy. Eh? Like that's kind of how you roll.
Thanks, man. Like, thank you for saying that, because I always been. That's one thing from the beginning of my journey that I started. Um, okay, so a lot of people don't know this, but thanks for bringing it up, because when I had my first, not my first, sorry, when I had my fourth amateur fight, I watched so much of the fight of TJ Dillashaw versus Renan Barao, the
Mhm.
first
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah,
And I watched that fight up from then till now. I probably watched that fight over 100 times, 100 to probably 200 times.
Jeez.
I've analyzed that fight so in depth, and just the way he went about beating the greatest fighter of that time,
Mhm.
yeah,
who was 10 years undefeated, flat-footed, strong, heavy puncher, heavy kicker type of opponent. And I was like, and I watched TJ outstrike him the entire fight. Only stand up, always looking for the kill, always pushing the pace. Um, hit but don't be hit.
Yeah.
and that sort of like changed my mindset in like the direction of where martial arts is going, and the like how dynamic the sport is becoming, where you can fight with your hands down, you can move around, you can cross your feet, you can change stances, you can
Mm.
go to the body, go to the head, you can mix everything up, like you can go low, keep your hands low, out of range, get in range, like close range, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the fours and fives that actually do damage, not the ones and twos anymore. So
Mm.
there are so many like different things that the game has evolved, and even watching Dwayne Brown and TJ2 changed my mind even more, because he even came with such a greater dynamic in his game. So
Absolutely.
that changed my entire mindset about the sport, and I realized that my coach Clint Walters always says this, is that it's the fitter, more conditioned guy that will be able to last longer in the fight and break down your opponent mentally, physically. And that's one thing that I do to incorporate that style of fighting. You need to be very conditioned, you need to be very fit,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and like try bouncing around back and forth on your
Yeah, it's
feet
not
and see your
possible.
calves burn.
Yeah,
Your
for
calves
I
start
know.
burning.
45 minutes while
I
getting punched
I'm
in the
very
face.
yeah, man. I'm super guilty of that. When my cardio is slack and my sparring slows way down, and when I'm in fight shape or when I used to be in fight shape, I move a hell of a lot more. And you got to be in wicked shape to move like that. Otherwise, you're
Gotta
just
be so wicked
plodding
shape.
around.
And that's the thing. Even one of my greatest fighters of all time, my favorite fighter, GSP.
Yeah,
He's
Canada, baby.
uh, I can't wait to get there, bro. I love that guy. I love that guy.
Class act.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
he is. I gotta ask you, what's the nickname mean? Mamu. Is it my
Oh no,
pronouncing it?
so that's my old nickname, man. That's my
Oh,
old
it's your
nickname,
old
man.
one. Oh, what's your new one?
My coach gave renamed me when I joined his gym.
Is it the
Buddha,
nickname on Instagram?
Buddha.
Ah, okay, Buddha MMA.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
So what's the story
yeah.
behind that one?
So when I got to the gym, I wasn't as involved in my diet as I am now. So although I was
I thought it
super
was a
fast and
spiritual
super
thing.
quick, and I love moving around, a lot of what is all credit to him for those stand up abilities and being able to move. But uh, you should just I used to love taking my shirt off, but I really look like a Buddha doing so.
That's
We have
hilarious.
a lot of bounce, a lot of cushion for the pushing.
There
You
you
know
go.
what I mean?
Very good. Yeah, really good.
Safety first.
Yeah, that's right. What's your future, Brave FC? Obviously, they canceled a couple events, but as soon as they get back on the horse, is that the plan? You'll be fighting right away.
So, bro, like, I mean, I'm actually got a. I actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I've got a live interview with them next week. So if you guys can stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Hopefully, you can
Awesome.
get you in that featherweight tournament.
Flyweight, yeah, the
Flyweight,
flyweight.
sorry.
So, bro, like this is the thing
Half
that I
drunk
don't
today.
understand, and I'm gonna say it straight up to them next week as well. Like I'm doing things in that division. Everybody, I've made weight. I'm making weight. I'm stepping up 24 hours notice. I'm taking fights 4 weeks apart from each other. I've had a fight in Romania. 4 weeks later, I cut weight. I did all the requirements. I won the fight. Put on a show for the dub for the South African fans within Brave.
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks apart from Romania. So I went through the cycle. There were so many fights that were um, cancelled on the way to Romania, and then I fight again in Romania, and then 4 weeks later I fight again in South Africa. And a year before that, I took a fight 24 hours notice. I stepped up when I needed to step up.
Yeah.
I've made weight when I needed to make weight. There was a guy from UFC that's fighting, that's assigned to Brave. I mean, how do you not know you're gonna make weight? If
Mm-hmm.
I tell you you're fighting in 4 weeks, how do you only realize 5 days before, or 2 days before the event, you won't make weight? You
It's
know what I mean? You
bullshit.
should know. You're professionally fighting at the highest level. You got a
Yeah.
good record. You
Yeah.
fought with the UFC. You had two fights with the UFC. You should know you need to make. You can't make weight.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
waste
If
the
you've had two
organization's
fights your
time. Don't
whole
waste the fans'
career,
time.
yeah,
You know. Sorry.
exactly. I said if you've had two fights your whole career, you should know how to make weight.
You know what I mean, bro? Like, I mean, and
Yeah.
this is your job.
Yeah.
This is, you can't say this is your job. This is,
Yeah.
everybody goes to desk. Let me ask somebody who's in a corporate job. Are you late at the office every day? Is every day are you late?
Exactly.
What time do you leave the office? So
You
there
get
is discipline. Sorry?
you get fired then.
You get fired, bro. You get a warning, you get fired. There's
Yeah.
disciplinaries, there's a whole lot of
Yeah.
things that are involved with this sort of things, you know? So like what I don't understand, like that's only one example. So what I'm saying is that there's been two situations, and unfortunately, the guy that was on the other receiving end was a guy that made weight and never had a fight. You know, twice. So the first time that guy lost the fight because the guy came in overweight. So um, he lost the guy that was going to win and who didn't make weight was going to not be eligible to win the title.
Yeah.
So he actually ended up winning via decision, and then the title was still up in the air. And then recently in Bahrain, last year November it was the guy pulled out of the fight and was like, I can't make weight 2 days before. So that's something that needs to be something that we need to have a conversation about
Yeah.
stepping up. You know, I stepped up. I saved the card last year. I mean, 2 years ago. I mean, I'm taking fights 4 weeks apart from each other and stepping up and actually making weight and being professional. You know,
Yeah.
this is what it's all about: being professional, carrying yourself in a good, dignified manner, and to represent the sport, the organization,
Big time.
and I think it's time that people recognize that or bring that to their attention. You know, to be a legible opponent
Mm.
for either the tournament or for a title shot. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True professional, man.
Yeah.
It's
There's
yeah, commendable.
a lot to be said for that. No question about it. You know, especially from our end as a promotion, things are a lot easier to deal with somebody who's a professional, who's respectful, who's going to be polite and also make weight and put on a good show, right?
Be
That's
reliable.
That's it, right? So good for you, man. We can't thank you enough for joining us, Dansheel, or Dan. We'll call you Dan. We're on a first name, short name, best buddy basis now, all the way from South Africa to Nova Scotia, Canada. We got to thank you for joining us, man. Any final shout outs you want to give out to our audience?
Oh man, thanks. Firstly, in Visit Sport, guys, thank you for taking care of me, sponsoring me. Please make sure to catch the Envisage coffee, bro. It's gonna blow your
Delicious.
mind. MCT oil, beta alanine, the
Yeah.
works, everything that you need in a coffee.
Sweet.
Please check it out, guys. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. And just I want to give one more shout out to all those healthcare workers who are
Mhm.
working during this time of COVID. My praise and thoughts go out to each and every one of you individuals, because right now we are the champion. Sometimes we the champions in the cage, but these guys are the real champions,
Hmm.
the real superheroes who are out there protecting us, saving people's lives, and actually in the front line of all of this in the front line of this virus.
Hmm.
So just a big shout out to everybody, whatever what country they come from. I wish you guys all the best, and you guys are in my thoughts and prayers, and all those families who have been affected by sick individuals or deaths with regards to COVID. My thoughts and prayers go out again to each and every one of you.
Beautiful,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Man,
Appreciate it,
what a
man.
sweetheart! You're gonna make me cry, dude. That's you're making me emotional, but it's true.
It's all about the emotion.
That's
Bruce Lee
what
said, "Always fight with emotion."
There you go.
All right, Buddha, man. I love it. You're a stud. You're pay attention to this guy, folks. Give him a follow on Instagram, Buddha MMA. A great record. Fighting for the. We're gonna just say he's gonna fight for the title for Brave coming up. Thanks for joining us,
Basically.
man. We'll talk soon, my man.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
All
Have a
right.
good afternoon.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Sleep tight. It's 8 p.m. over there in South Africa. Pretty cool having a guy in the other side of the world, eh, John?
Yeah, that was really cool. What a great dude.
Yeah, just a humble sweetheart of a guy. That's my favorite kind of person.
Absolutely.
Leads us into our next individual. Let's go right into our next individual. A guy I've actually never spoke to this guy face to face. I've heard lots about him. I'm sure you have too. He's been a name on the East Coast here in the kickboxing scene, and I'm sure he'll be moving into MMA a little bit in the future. I'm not sure, but that's what we're going to find out. A stud here, representing Manimal Athletics, and yeah, let's bring him on, folks. Matt Harnish.
What's up, Matt?
How are you, Matt? How's things?
Oh, good. Just hanging
Good.
out, trying to survive.
Yeah, like the rest of us, right? Where are you at? Sackville.
No, I'm in Clayton Park right now. I've been at my girlfriend's for like the past month,
Oh, nice.
hiding out.
Yeah, you're not on
Yep.
leave, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you getting any training in?
Hmm?
Are you getting any training in at all, or just that?
Yeah, like Staples let me borrow all that gear, so like we've
awesome.
been hitting stuff, but like it's kind of hard to kick full tilt when your girlfriend's holding pads, you know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing what I can. We tried it the first day, and she wasn't too game, but
Oh, man,
she's a
I've
trooper.
seen-
She tried.
That's beautiful. You're lucky to have them. I have seen the guys that just haul off on their girlfriend.
I can't. I felt bad. I couldn't do it.
Oh,
I was
you
like,
gotta
we can't
feel
do
bad.
this.
You're a huge dick.
It's like
yeah.
that. You know, like that Nagano video, the one you see the buddy.
Yeah.
Oh
Kicks
yeah.
them across the room.
15 yeah, that's awesome. Well, welcome to the show, Matt. Again,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, man. It's you've been involved in combat sports for a hell of a long time, and
Yeah.
you know, now how old are you now, Matt?
I'm 23. Turned 23 last week.
Wow, happy birthday!
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
man.
Nice quarantine birthday.
Yeah.
True. It's but for you, man, again, you've been training a long time.
Yeah.
You know, what's what got you into martial arts? Before we talk about obviously the injury and all that kind of stuff, but how did you actually get into martial arts?
I was always like inspired by George St. Pierre. My dad watched like UFC, so I saw him and I was like, this Canadian guy is actually like a beast. Like that's awesome. And then I was like inspired and I wanted to do it for sure. But what, as stupid as this is, what really got me into it is I was going into junior high from grade 6, and I heard a lot of rumors that at my school they like curb stomped the grade 7s and they beat the shit out of them. And I was like, you know what? That's not going to be me. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. Like, legit, the only reason I started, I was like, I'm just not going to be. And I was like a small kid. Like, I was like a noodle. So I was like, I'm not going to be that punching bag. And then started it just for self-defense and just to not get beat up. And then I just fell in love with it. Kept doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah. I was just terrified. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Definitely good motivation.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm gonna curb stomp you. Well, I'll be back. in
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna need karate lessons.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, your dad is a super supportive guy. If you
Yes, he is.
like, that's one thing that's so important, not only in sports and life. You know, this sports, you know, it matters. You know, everybody gets amped up, whatever. But even through this kind of shit that we're dealing with right now, how important is having a supportive person like that and family and group around, right?
It's super important. It's super important. I catch myself kind of like my dad's like my biggest supporter easily. Like I get a little frustrated sometimes. So sometimes I just want to let me do things. But like I totally get where it comes from. Like he just supports everything I do, and so does my whole family. Like I can't thank him, my girlfriend, my grandparents, anybody enough. You know, like they're always there for me, thick and thin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and well, John, obviously you have a couple kids, and like I have no kids myself, but you know what that's like, John, to be involved in at that level and in that close knit, and your dad Paul has always been like that, and
Oh yeah,
like that a little bit growing up too. My parents said, you know, let me do this, but you look back and you're like,
you start to realize, you know, like he's just trying to help you. And I'm sure I do the exact same with my son. I'm sure my son's going to tell me to piss off and be like, leave me alone. I'm like, all right.
That's it. Yeah, John.
Probably sooner than you think.
Yeah, jeez.
I got told to go to hell twice today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though, man. But so you, for anybody who isn't aware, too, you spent a little time in Thailand.
Yeah, back in 2016, I spent some time in Thailand. I went there for a month. I wish I would have went there longer. Honestly, man, I loved it.
Yeah,
like
man.
I'd go back in a heartbeat. Like honestly, It was awesome. I went to Tiger and like. I don't think I left that street. I got cabbed from the airport to my dorm. I didn't leave that street for the month. Like I just went. I didn't even go see a beach, which is kind of stupid. I kind of wish I did, but
Good excuse.
I was on a mission. Like I had my first fight coming up in August.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Like I need to grind. So.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If you're gonna go, hey, John, if you're gonna get into it, right? Like that's the mentality.
If you're gonna do it right.
Exactly.
How many fights have you had, Matt? Looking around.
I've only had 4. Okay. Four kickboxing fights, but like.
Yeah.
Like people actually don't know this about me. I'm a grappler at heart. Like I started grappling when I was like 11, probably wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
No way.
Like I only started kickboxing man. Like I was scared to get punched, so that goes back to me being terrified. I was like, what can I do here that's not going to beat me up, but I'll still know how to fight?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to grapple. But
Guys got all the
I started
instincts.
kickboxing probably like 16, 17.
Okay.
Yep.
No
Yeah.
way. Did you still grapple at all, or do you?
Oh yeah,
kickboxing?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
Like my secret weapon here.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, actually. So, what's the plan? Are you going to kickboxing, MMA? Or
No, the plan was MMA. The plan, I remember we were messaging a lot about it too, and I was saying like I wanted to fight in the summer. My plan was fight in the summer, and whatever a show, whether it was you guys or Nova or whoever, I was going to go to. So that was my plan, and then obviously all this happened, so I'm just chilling now. Yeah.
You and everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah, you kind of have to take it by stride right now, and it'll be interesting to see when this all kind of comes out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great transition for you. Like,
Yeah.
Like you say, it's a secret weapon you're grappling. I know you do grapple. I've never seen you grapple, but I've heard you're pretty good on the ground, and you're a very talented striker. So it'd be interesting to see you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that ring rust in that like mentality is only going to get better if that strength in the cage, right?
Yeah. It frustrated me too when all this went down because like after I lost to Jake last November, I was like on I wanted to get in there bad. Yeah. I wanted to friggin' get in the cage, throw somebody on their head, and then fight Jake again. Like that's what I wanted. So like now it just sucks. But like I will. Like I'm not coming for him per se. I'm just coming for the top MMA guys. Like that's just a guy I want to get back because he beat me. But like my main weight is 145. Like I'm a featherweight. I know he's a bantamweight, so it is what it is. Maybe we'll cross paths, but I'm gonna focus on me. But the cage is 100% where I'm going next.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of marketability in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, a lot of people know me.
That's it. Well, and it's not just that too. It's you're like when you speak well, you represent things well. And I think that goes a long way to represent yourself outside of everything as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Good for you. So I got to ask you about this injury. Are you okay with talking about it? Is that a little bit?
Good. Yeah, whatever. Say whatever you want. I'm good.
Well, to me, it's quite it's remarkable. You had a pretty disastrous injury.
Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Sorry.
Right.
If you're that's cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of how you overcame it,
Well, back in that day, man, like back then I was grinding on the grappling. All I was doing was wrestling. I was wrestling for my school. I was wrestling at the Mock Club with Corey Robinson for a little bit because I wanted to go Team Nova Scotia. I wanted to go to Canada Games. That was my goal. Because they were like, yeah, like you're good enough. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, sweet, that's my plan. And then me and my friends were just frigging around in the summer. And it was like I was in grade 8 going into grade 9. Climbed up on Sauk Flights Junior High, and then like there was this like a skylight there. Me being a dumb kid, 14 years old, I didn't know what a skylight was. I thought it was a bubble. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go see what that is. So me and my buddies legit started bouncing on it, and I was like, this is cool. Like I didn't know what it was, right? So I was like, this is cool. We're bouncing off it, and then me trying to be a one-upper was like, I'm gonna go get some air and try and bounce off of it. Because all my friends were just bouncing on it. I was like, I'm going to one up these guys. So I hopped up, and I was like, all right, back up. Dove on it, tried to bounce off, of course, as soon as my feet hit, just and then I went down quick. I didn't ever see the school video, but from what they told me, I did like a barrel roll. It's the only reason I survived.
Wow. Training.
Yeah. That legit. And after it happened, all the jiu-jitsu guys I was training with were like, man, that was 100% break falling. And I'm
totally.
Like, that makes sense. Because like when I get tossed, I got to learn how to fall, right?
Yeah.
My mind just went like roll. Like I don't even remember it. So clearly I did myself a favor.
Yeah. How far did you fall?
From the floor to the cafeteria ceiling was 35 feet, and I jumped. So however much that would be, 40 something, maybe 30 something, 35, 36.
Crazy.
What was the injury you sustained? Because I'm in the dark.
Oh man, everything. No, not everything. But I jumped down. It felt like it was funny when it happened. My adrenaline was like pumping through me. So from what I remember waking up on the ground, standing up, and the only thing that hurt were my 2 toes. I was like, oh, I fucking shattered my toe. Sorry. I was like, I shattered my toes. I was like, I shattered my toes.
That's the first time I've heard that word.
I was like, it's over. I just like that's what the only thing I thought. I was
you
like,
thought
okay,
it was
my
over
foot hurts.
because you shattered your
No.
toe?
I thought it was over because I was like looking up and my friends were looking down at me. But the only thing that hurt was my toes, so it was confusing. But there was blood everywhere, so I knew I was messed up. And like being somewhat of a smart person, I was like, okay, I'm clearly just jacked up. So I sprinted outside on like broken everything. I don't know how. So then I sat down. My friends came down from the roof, and they were like, "What do you want me to do?" And then I was like, "Call 911. Like I'm gonna die, like legit." So what happened was I shattered my kneecap, broke my skull, fractured my skull, broke my orbital bone. I think I sprained my toes. That's why they hurt so much.
Wow.
But like, yeah, major concussion. Like I was done. Like there was no sports for me for a while.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's a major, major injury, and that's where I look at it, to come back and look at you now, and not a long time ago, like less than like probably like 6-7 years ago, and look at you now, man, and that's a stud ripping it up, right? Like
every time I get my medical done, Dr. Marsh tells me you shouldn't do this that long, you know. I'm like, I know.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? You gotta live life and enjoy.
Exactly. I'm gonna die one day, and if I don't do what I want to do, I'm gonna be sad. So
no regrets. So did you spend like a fair amount of time in the hospital after that?
Yeah, I spent at least like a month and a half, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a long recovery process to get back?
Oh my god, yeah. Like because I shattered my kneecap, they had to do a full cast from like my ankle up to like my waist pretty much. So my leg was just like straight for like that much time, and I was in a wheelchair. So after all that happened, I had to go to physio, relearn how to use my leg, which sucked. That was annoying. Yeah.
Such a hard thing to overcome at a young age, right? And it probably
I know,
made your mental toughness even better.
I grew up a little, for sure.
Yeah.
Life meant a little more after that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's shitty you didn't get the video either.
They have it. Sac Lights Junior High has it. I didn't want it when I was young. I was like, I don't want to see that, but now.
No. That's it. Yeah. Sure. A few people over a few beers would be like, "Man, we got to watch that video."
Oh yeah, absolutely. My friends have told me to get it for them. I was like, "No, I can't do that."
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story, man. And like I didn't know any of that. I just know you as the kid that kickboxes and does really well in the local circuit. So
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Pretty amazing stuff, and that's the thing, right? Like where I look at things, I look at success, and like most people look at you, like again, you never judge a book by its cover, right? And like I got hit by lightning and hit by a truck when I was young too. That's the nickname Cat, right? So that's where that comes from. Like,
I get you.
So that's kind of like. So John, how did you almost get? John?
Yeah, I'm trying to think now, man. I mean, I have had nothing that crazy. I was in a serious car accident, but
No, but that's it, right? It's you gotta enjoy and embrace every day and be positive, man. So that's
absolutely.
The reason I wanted to have you on here, Matt. Going back to your last fight with Jake, it was a tough fight, really, really tough fight, a great fight too. What kind of takeaways did you have from that fight?
A lot, a lot, man. I had a bad camp going into that fight. Like, I'm not making excuses, but I had a shitty camp going into that fight. Like when I finished that fight, I just knew what I had to do. It sucks after all that when you look back and you're like, I know what I should have done and what I could have done. Yeah. And then like, I don't know. It's a lot, but
sometimes you need a fight to expose
exactly.
yourself.
And it's one of those things where I wouldn't take that loss back. That loss, it taught me a lot of things about my like lead up. And a lot about the people that I'm around. Like there was a lot of people that showed me not like loyalty, and I still have those people in my circle. And there was a lot of people that just wanted to benefit themselves and didn't give a shit. They just wanted to, like the people. Like after I left or after the fight happened, everybody cleared out. Like my circle of people that really love me stayed there and hugged me after because they love me and they know it meant a lot to me. And there's some people after that didn't even text me after that. Like. Yeah. Who I expected to call me, So I was like, you know what, like I'm not being I'm not being a diva, you didn't talk to me type thing, but like, man, this is a team effort. Like it's an individual sport. I go in there and fight, but there's a lot of moving parts to get me in there. Yeah. And, you know what I mean? Like, and any fighter knows what I'm talking about, any promoter, anybody. Like it's a big deal, So I need loyalty in my circle. That's all. Yeah. That's all and I'm glad I took this loss because it showed me a lot. It really showed me who had my back.
And Jake's a super tough guy.
Jake's a friggin' beast. He's probably the best bantamweight amateur right now. And that's the thing. Like, I didn't lose to a bum. I lost to a bum. That's the thing. So I knew that going in. I knew I was facing a beast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's commendable as well, man.
Exactly.
Like, taking the top fights.
Yep.
That's what you got to do. I mean, you're
Well,
never going to get
I
to
want
the
to be a
top beating
champion,
bums.
you know?
Yeah.
So does he. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can see even right now, you know, like you're a little fired up talking about, and that.
I know.
But that right
I'm moving
there,
around and move my feet.
but that's fire, right? That's
I know.
intensity. That's the
passion.
shit that's gonna make you win, right?
Yeah.
So good for you, man. Like in surround yourself, like it's no different than John and I, right? Like after you get older, you're like, fuck, I don't want to be around these people. They're sucking. They're leeches, right? They're
Exactly.
sucking. I want people around me that are gonna be on the same path, the same goals,
Yeah.
and get to the same place with me, right? So
Yep.
good for you. You gotta work that out sometimes, right?
Yep.
So no.
What's up with you guys? What's up with your plan? You guys are trying to have indoor scraps or what?
yeah.
We're basically looking for anything we can do to keep things moving forward, right?
Yeah,
right now
absolutely.
it's all up in the air. That's the idea that we're following down, but our commission is actually shut down until
I know.
end of this month for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So maybe next month that's a discussion we can start with, but I think we're probably gonna have to go. You know, the commission's going to have to be on board, but I think probably the provincial government, or I don't even know.
Somebody has to give the clear, eh?
Yeah. I'll have to give the clear before.
Yeah, we have to get the clear, and we're going to have some sort of a logistical plan figured out that's going to have to be obviously approved or sanctioned for us to say, like, okay, here's what our officials protocol is what our fighters protocol is, coaches, training leading up to it. Like, nobody's going to sit at home for 2 months and then show up and fight.
That's the thing. Like, I'd be game to do that, but like to fight in an empty room or whatever. But I need some sparring partners first. Like that's the only thing I'd be worried about. Get me on the air bike. Get me some sparring partners.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that. The only way we could pull it off in an empty arena is if people had a good month or 6 weeks to train.
Exactly. Yeah.
To get back into fight shape to look, you know, and I think that might happen, but I don't think they're going to let anybody have events with more than 50 people.
No, they're not. And you know what though? But that's even if it got to that point where they were like, okay, 50 people, that's fine because I can go to my gym and train with 10 people, and then we can have an event or whatever, right? But now it's 0 or 5. Like we can't do anything. So
no,
we're just waiting.
That's it, right? And you got guys like John here, you know, who owns a gym, and it's a hard situation all around for sure. Not easy.
Yeah.
So, how's your training going outside of the house before you got into quarantine?
It was good. It was good. Like I told you, I was like bad out of hell after that loss. Like I wanted to get in there bad. Like I was grinding. Like and there was a kickboxing card after that I was gonna go on, but it was one of those things where I had a fire in a mask where I wanted to get in and show what I could do, but I also wasn't gonna go in blind and not have upgraded anything. That'd be stupid, right? So I really just went back, worked on my boxing and my cardio, and like that's it. Like next time I go out there, I plan on showing a lot.
Good. Is Ryan building a new gym? Is that the plan?
Yeah, he is on Lucasville Road.
So where's that? Is Sackville? Is that Sackville?
Yeah, it's technically Sackville, yeah. Lucasville, so it's like in the middle of Sackville, Bedford.
Okay.
But it's good. Like if you keep driving on Lucasville Road, you can go towards like Hammonds Plains and all that. It connects to Millwood.
Oh yeah.
So that's like my stomping ground. That's my home there.
Yeah, that's your
Millwood. Yeah.
Millwood High.
Yep.
That's right. Cool. Well, that's it, man. And it goes back like not just Ryan, but you know you got. Do you still wrestle with like Liam Zachary and all those guys?
No.
I don't know if they're from that area or I don't know.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. I didn't realize where they're from, but
that
Josh,
name sounds really familiar. Maybe I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah, he's a wrestler from Nova Scotia. I thought he's around your age. I thought you might know him, but definitely Joshua Sanders. I saw he's done some great videos with you, man. He's doing beautiful work. He's super talented. Good for
Josh
him.
is awesome. Yep. He's with 365 Media, and they're doing crazy stuff. Like everybody I've met out of that crew is awesome. Like they're all young people. They're all hyped up to do videos, and they're all doing a good job. Like every piece of video I watch from him or any of them is amazing. So
very good.
We did a video for me, and that's for sponsors. Like when I'm coming up to a fight, like I'm gonna start showing that sponsors. Like this is what you can be a part of. You know, like he's helped me a lot. Josh has helped me a lot in my life. Period. Like me and Josh. Go back, like, oh my God. Me and Josh used to play Army in the Woods when we were like 6. Like, that man is like my guy. Man, it's like, we used to grind.
Did he go to Thailand with you? He went over there.
He didn't go to Thailand. He went to, well, yes, he did. He didn't go with me. He went there. What happened was he went on like, it's some sort of like, I don't know. He went over there to get a job type thing to stay there for a year. So he was in Australia. He went with my buddy Luke. So after that, they were kind of circling around Australia. So they came to Thailand, and then he went to a couple other places, right? So he's a drifter.
Yeah, that's good for him. Creative, right? Like John.
Yeah.
You know who that is, John? Josh
No, I
Sanders?
don't.
No,
No.
he's trained with these guys. They're crew for a while. I don't know what he is in jiu-jitsu. Maybe a blue belt, or I don't know if he's even. I don't know, but I've seen him around.
Who, Josh?
Yeah,
He's a blue belt.
he's a blue belt. Yeah, and
He's a beast on the ground, man.
Yeah, he's fought.
He's a beast on the feet.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did he fight? Amateur.
He fought in East Hants on that card, and he went up in weight. So I know, like, he fought at 180, I think. But I know if he was to fight now, he'd probably fight at 170.
Yeah.
I think.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a place.
That's my guess, though. Don't quote me. He might be heavier or lighter. I don't know.
Well, you never know. But right now, he's doing some damn good video work.
Is he ever?
Yep. And that's so important to have utilize friends like that. Like,
and it's not just a videographer. It's my friend who like he actually cares about me. So it's awesome.
Yeah, he's going to do a good story, highlight the things that he knows that are your strong points, right?
Exactly.
Media sells, man. So good.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
Powerful tools.
There's a lot more of this game than people think, right? And you obviously seem to have some of it figured out, man. So
some of it, at least.
Wow, fuck, none of us have any idea what the hell's going on, but it comes
wing it.
Right?
We're all learning, man.
We're all learning, just trying to enjoy the sports, man, and enjoy combat. If the more people are together and have good relationships and push the sport forward in a positive way, everybody's going to be successful. So that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, buddy. Well, you got any final shout outs? Again, we can't thank you enough for joining us. I've been following you for a while. You're an absolute stud. So keep up the great work. You're super talented in a lot of facets of the game, man. So
thank you. Final shout out, Ferguson's ending Gaethje. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says.
You know what?
I hope so. I could care.
I don't care. Gaethje's going to come forward, and he's subbing him. I don't even care.
Gaethje's amazing. Ferguson, I don't want to see his streak ended. He's got to fight Khabib, man. He's got to fight Khabib.
I know. I've been on the Tony train forever, though. I am Tony. Yeah. Like, when he fights Khabib, like, I will bet the house on Tony. Like,
nice.
I'm a Tony guy. Love Tony.
Yeah.
I have the poster for Khabib Tony 1 in my gym, and there's been 5 of them that haven't happened.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's funny.
What's that?
You should get all 5 posters.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
right?
collect them.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. So hopefully Tony pulls it off. It's
I know.
I don't know. I see it. Unless he knocks Gaethje out, I see it. Or unless Gaethje
knocks him out. Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a long night.
I'm with you. Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be a long, bloody, and sweaty night. That's the problem, and that's where Ferguson shines. So
exactly. Right?
I'm just excited to see some live fights, man. Like I was watching Sug last night, and I was like, "This is good," but like I'm trying to see somebody get hit.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to Ethan there today because they kept calling him Ian. Jail kept calling Ian Kralinston, or I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
But
he's the king of pronouncing names wrong. You watch his YouTube show?
No.
Man, he does it on purpose, I swear. Like, I watch it, and I'm like, man, you're messing it up on purpose. Like, I swear.
Genius man.
He's just because he wants you to think. Like, he is. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, very smart. Smart marketing, again, goes back to what you're saying, right? The business and everything else involved in just fighting, right? Look at Connor.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like there's was anything special he did. He just the bravado and it's like the same old stuff that's been done in wrestling and boxing and everything, right? So anyway, man, I can't thank you enough for joining us. John, you got any final words for the buddy?
Man, it was good to meet you.
Yes, you as well.
I've heard your name floating around, of course, and I'm sure we'll run into each other on the circuit one of these days.
Awesome.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, hopefully we can get you on a card here, whether it's us or EC.
145. I'm not cutting crazy weight anymore. 145 is my home. It should be.
Smart man. Well, all you 145ers, watch out because that's a super talented guy looking across from you. Matt Harnish, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right, folks, there you have it. Matt Harnish, the Tiger. Great guy, great kid.
Great show.
Yeah, great show. Another fantastic episode here. That's episode...
What is it, 36? 37?
Episode 37. Danny and I were talking about this last night, John, and I was like, we're just getting started. He's like, man, you're on episode 37. I don't know any other goddamn podcast that's on episode 37. It started 2 months ago.
Yeah, man, you're killing it.
He said, well, what else are you going to do? we're all stuck at home, and it's one of those things we got to take advantage of it and do our thing, right? But
Taking advantage of this time, man. It's a
That's
blessing
right.
and the curse.
That's right. But anyway, all those folks at home, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all those folks out in the front lines doing what they're doing, keeping us safe and keeping us stocked up in the food and all that fun stuff. We got a great episode lined up tomorrow night. We got Adam Hunter. Adam Hunter, the TKO, former TKO heavyweight, former UFC heavyweight, released. Now, who knows where he's going to fight? Hopefully, he'll be fighting for Fight League Atlantic. And then following that, we got Rick J. Lee. Rick J. Lee is the videographer who makes all the UFC embeddeds. So it'll be cool to chat with him tomorrow night and, see all the fun footage that he's got along the way. Anyway, John, lots of love to you and your family. We'll see you tomorrow, my man. If you can be anything in this world,
be kind.
All right, pal.
Take care, brother.
Bye-bye. Goodbye, folks.